Yes, well, here on Outsiders, we are often critical of all parts of government, but it seems some parts of government can't take much criticism, James. Why would that be?
Oh, well, apparently, this is kind of amusing here, but the Prime Minister went on a podcast with Australian National University, and he complained that some segments of the media are cheerleaders, apparently, for Peter Dutton. But, of course, it all comes down to the fact that, I mean, I would like to invite him. I don't know if he's referring to this show at all, because we're very critical of coalition very often on a lot of things, but he wouldn't like those criticisms. But it comes down to this really sort of thin-skinned nature that the Prime Minister has. I've never seen in all my years watching and covering Australian politics a Prime Minister who is so thin-skinned. You know, he has called out plenty of journalists, myself included, on the floor of Parliament for stories that he doesn't like because he finds them embarrassing.
He got upset with you over Viennetta Gate.
Oh,
because you called out his untruth about this memory of having Viennetta with his mum when Viennetta wasn't even invented.
It was a light story anyway. In the middle of this whole campaign, it was funny, and it became, you know, the biggest deal ever.
Let's have a quick listen. Let's have a quick listen to Mr. Albanese complaining about people who complain about him.
You do have a blurring of news from opinion as well. There are some journalists who are more stenographers in particularly the right-wing media than actual journalists. They're a cheer squad. Some of the transcripts that you read from Peter Dutton essentially is him just saying, yes, I agree with particular radio commentators or TV commentators.
A blurring of news and opinion, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
A blurring of news and opinion. Has this guy, has the Prime Minister, I mean, I know that in his Commonwealth car he doesn't have a phone where he can get news about people, but he might have a radio. I wonder if he's listened to Radio National lately, the ABC, watched Insiders, watched Q&A.
But this is it. You've got a Prime Minister going on university radio, whining like some teenage girl, when the overwhelming majority of the Australian media leans left and has given him a golden run, and yet he still finds time to complain. He should be counting his lucky stars that he has had such an easy run from the bulk of the media.
But he also complains that Peter Dutton agrees with some radio commentators or TV commentators. Yes, that's because the commentators, particularly on radio, are talking directly to the public and getting feedback. And if the leader of the opposition can't agree with a large number of people in the country, then there's a problem. Clearly, Albo has pretty much the same problem. I'm not sure how many people agree with him on Talkback Radio. It's a joke. UCLA, we've talked about. They've got a novel approach, James, to admissions.
Yes, so there's just been this huge blow-up where it's been revealed, basically, they have completely different standards for people who are black versus white versus Asian, and to the point now where, you know, all sorts of exams, people are failing them within the medical school, and people are now concerned that this is actually going to affect the practice of medicine.
Of course it will, Rita.
I'm worried about when those old school doctors retire, because this new lot coming through who've got the DEI philosophy behind them. So people are getting in who shouldn't get in, and people are being rejected, particularly Asian students who've got fantastic grades.
Absolute joke.